You don't need I'm doing legend. He a 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 legend. Welcome to the league. 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 Welcome to the league. To the league. To the league. To the league. To the league.
What's up, everybody? It's Pikel with League of Items, and we only have 4 games tomorrow. Not sure what that pause was about. I was kicking around some other ideas about openings for this video, but they all feel a little bit too heavy now. So I'm just going to jump into the results from yesterday. So yesterday we had JDG against Ultra Prime. JDG took care of business 2-0. Top Esports lost the first game to Weibo Gaming, but then they came back and won the second 2 games. Weibo Gaming and Top Esports are 2 pretty good teams in the LPL. I think that Top Esports is kind of undervalued right now in general, which makes some sense because they're not performing to the level that we would expect them to, but it's gotten to the point where the market is just kind of out of whack, I guess. I do think that I definitely preferred BLG going into that matchup, and I explained my reasoning for that yesterday. But I'm not surprised at all that Top Esports won. They're both pretty good teams. I'm going to look at the scoreboards real quick for the games last night. So let's take a quick look. I'm pretty sure this was another spot where it was like Jinx against Ofelios a million times. World of Warcraft. I haven't played World of Warcraft in about 10 years. It's always fun trying to figure out what day it is in the LPL. And you never get it right on the first try. And you don't really get it right on the second try very often either. So Ultra Prime against JDG. We had Ofelios against Jinx. Ofelios won. Ofelios against Jinx. Ofelios won. 13-1-3 from Elk in a loss. That's pretty intense. 10-2-8 from 369. That's pretty interesting. So the one thing I would say about JDG, well, not about JDG, about the Ofelios versus Jinx matchup, there were some back and forths on Twitter the past couple days that were talking about that matchup specifically. Jinx has like a really good win rate against Ofelios in general, and the one problem that I have is that nobody online keeps track of like the betting odds for previous matches and then the champions that are in those matches, so that you could do like Jinx when they're a favorite against Ofelios when they're an underdog, or Ofelios when they're a favorite versus Jinx when it's an underdog. Because I would have to think that when the favorite picks Ofelios, the favorite is more likely to get that early game lead that allows Ofelios to play aggressive and flash into aggressive plays. Because you really need to be up in the face of the enemy team. The other thing I would want to look at is Graves' win rate against Ofelios and Graves' win rate against Jinx. Meaning that like the team with, like if it's Jinx and Graves against an Ofelios, I feel like that's a really good way to approach that kind of game, because Ofelios' range makes like the smoke bomb probably even a little bit more valuable. And the reason I was thinking about that is because that happened in one of the Top Esports games. So then we had Zerry against Jinx. This is another thing that we should watch out for. Is I think that the Zerry Jinx matchup is probably Zerry favored. I don't know that for sure, but I think I saw on a website that it was like 60% Zerry to 40% Jinx. It's obviously a small sample size, but that'd be interesting if that's the case. Like, I don't play Zerry, so I don't fully understand why it would be like that. But that's something to watch out for. It might just be her high mobility and her tankiness, so that it's a little bit more difficult for Jinx to get a reset. Could be something as simple as that. Then we had Top Esports win Jinx against Ofelios, and then Top Esports won Jinx against Ofelios. And this was the game where there was something going on in the mid game where Ofelios was trying to go forward to make an aggressive play Graves just smoke bombed, and like something clicked in my brain where like that's so much. Graves is probably so much better against a champion like Ofelios than Jinx for that reason. Because in order for Graves to utilize smoke bomb effectively against Jinx, he needs to get closer than he would to Ofelios relative to the range of the champion. So that's just something I was thinking about the other day. I figured I'd share it with you all. Then tomorrow we have 2 games in the LPL, 2 games in the LCK. In the LPL we have EDG against LGD. EDG, a huge favorite. I'm not betting on LGD in that one. Then we have Weibo Gaming against RNG. So Weibo Gaming is the favorite, and I do prefer them. Now we're getting to the point where Weibo Gaming is thought so highly of that I start feeling uncomfortable with a lot of these lines. So we did this yesterday, but let's just do it again. So the Shy against Bin, I prefer the Shy. S of M against Wei, I think it's pretty close. Xiaohu against Angel, I prefer Xiaohu. And then Huanfeng and An against Gala and Ming, I prefer Huanfeng and An. The one question I have is how much does Gala play Zerry? Because if Gala plays Zerry, this could be a spot where Weibo Gaming, and I mean Huanfeng can definitely play Zerry as well, but it'll be interesting to see which one of these teams is more likely to play it. Let's see if we can get the champion stats. Zerry. So Huanfeng has played it twice against Tristana, against Samira. They lost both. Okay, Huanfeng is 0-2. Gala has not played it. Okay, that's interesting. It's good that Huanfeng plays it. It's bad that it hasn't worked. Let's see. I think generally when the team's on the left side, they have side selection. I could try to find it here. Uh-oh. Man, the advertisements on this thing are intense. So side selection in the first game was BLG. Side selection first game BLG. So side selection in the first game for Weibo Gaming, they should be able to pick blue side. If you pick blue side, you're more likely to get Zerry because you can pick it first. The other team would have to ban it. If the other team bans Zerry and Jinx, then you get Ofelios. I don't hate that. I think that does help Weibo Gaming a decent amount. I just prefer their bot lane in general. So the line itself gives me indigestion. It was either that or the Chinese food that I ate today. I also had a turkey sandwich that was questionable. But that's not really that important. Weibo Gaming against RNG. I want to be on Weibo Gaming. I wish that Weibo Gaming was had 1 or 2 more losses and RNG was the favorite. Then I would feel great. I love Weibo Gaming when they're an underdog. When they're a small favorite, or a slightly, I guess, not really a small favorite, minus 160 is somewhat considerable, considering these are 2 top 5 teams in the LPL. Top 5 or 6. I think I just got to go Weibo Gaming. Bet with my heart on that one. So we have EDG and Weibo. Then we have Fredit Brion against Homolife. Every single time that Fredit Brion plays, I say that I don't understand Fredit Brion. I really don't understand why they're minus 200. So we're going to take a closer look at that, I think. But then the second match, Damwon against Sandbox. I'm never going to play Sandbox in that spot. So let's take a look at these 2 teams. So Fredit Brion and Homolife. Homolife is 3-8. Fredit Brion's 4-8. So we don't have a big difference there. Homolife has lost both of their matches to DRX, which is expected. They lost to Damwon, which is expected. Genji. They beat Homolife. They went 1-1 against KT Rolster, 1-1 against Kwangdong Freaks, which is good. Lost to Sandbox, which is bad. Beat Nongshim, which is good. Lost to T1, which is bad. This Nongshim win might have been during COVID. I'm not sure. Then we have Hwama Life picked up a match against DRX. That's very good. But that was early on in the season, I think. Lost, that's bad. Well, lost to Damwon, it's fine. That's fine. Going 1-1 to Sandbox. I'd rather if they took a game off of them, but it was whatever. Losing both matches to T1 is expected. And we're not talking about, Hwama Life winning this match and like making it into playoffs and all that. That's not really what my concern is. I'm just concerned about should they be plus, what was it? It was like plus 160. Plus 148. So let's see, plus 140. Plus 148 is about 40%. So can Hwama Life win this match 40% of the time? I would say yes. But that's not good enough. Could they make it a true coin flip? If they could make it a true coin flip, then it's like a 10% differential. It looks like Fred at Brion has all of the rake on their side too. Because minus 200 is 67%. So... I think that Fredit is definitely going to be the more popular side. I don't want to play Hwama Life. Hwama Life at plus 1.5 would be interesting to me. I just don't grade these two teams as that much different. The thing with a league like the LCK is you have T1, who's a very good team, Gen G, who's a very good team, Damwon Kia, who I think will be a very good team. As time goes on and everything kind of melds together. The one thing with Damwon is I think that they've probably had difficulty incorporating a stronger bot lane in the sense that the bot lane kind of demands more resources, which should theoretically play in line with Showmaker's strengths because he plays things like Twisted Fate, so he should be playing for the bot lane. But, it just hasn't worked out as well as they'd like to so far. They've lost both of their matches to T1. They lost a match to Nongshim. They lost a match to Genji. They lost a match to DRX. So, they haven't really given away a horrible series yet. DRX, good team, not a great team. They kind of... I feel the same way about them as I do with Weibo Gaming in the sense that I like betting on them when they're underdogs, but I feel kind of queasy when I'm asked to bet them as a favorite. Kwangdong, Fred at Brion... Kwangdong, KT Rolster, and Nongshim are three teams that I think are just more talented than the rest of the lower tier teams in the LCK. I have 3 futures bets in the LCK I have one on Nongshim, one on KT, one on DRX. So the DRX one, and none of these look likely to hit because like T1 and Gen G just look a lot better than everybody else, and I would assume that Damwon is also much better than everyone else. So even though you're the 4th place team in DRX, you would need to win 1, 2. You'd probably need to win 3 matches during the gauntlet, at the very least. If they get not lucky, but if they play well the rest of the season and Damwon loses another match out of nowhere, and like DRX could somehow get into the 3rd spot, I guess they would still have to play the same number of matches. 1, 2, yeah, probably 3. Oh, so I guess it would be 4 for the other one. But that's not that bad. Like if you did 0.3 times 0.3 equals... I guess that would be 3%, and then times 0.3 again. Yeah. I guess that's what they're saying. But it's crazy. Like when I got these numbers originally, Nongshim was plus 3,300, KT was plus 3,300, and DRX was plus 6,600. So times have changed. But that's basically it. So Morgan, let's just get the Morgan against Dudu. I prefer Morgan. Umti against On Fleek. I don't really care. Lava against Karis. I don't really care. Henna and Delight against Samdi and Vista. I'm assuming Samdi and Vista are the ones that are going to play. I would probably prefer Samdi there. I don't like Henna. And Hwama Life recently had a match where Samdi didn't play, and I think they lost. right? Homelife. No, Sam D didn't play and they 2-0'd. Okay. So maybe Sam D's not playing. Wait, which one did he not play in? Let's take a look. Whoop. Come on now. Yeah, so they didn't play against Sandbox. They didn't play against T1. So if that's like a full swap now, I guess that makes me like Homolife less. I'd watch out for that. If Sam D is playing, I would pick Homolife for the upset. If Sam D is not playing, it makes me much less likely to play that. But that's all I've got for you. I did make that LCK video recently, so I'll probably make an LEC video and LCS video sometime this week. So watch out for that. Otherwise, thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you later.